Assalamu alaikum everyone, and welcome to the today's session, tips for practical basic abdominal ultrasound. I'm Dr. Hambacha and head of department, University Institute of Radiological Sciences and Medical Imaging Technology, the University of Lahore. And I would like to introduce the today's presenter. Professor Dr. Syed Amir Gilani is our today's presenter. He is the founder dean of the Faculty of Allied Health Sciences at the University of Lahore, Pakistan. He is the country director of Applied HE and academic advisor to a dozen of international universities. He is the author of more than 365 internationally published articles and 11 books. He has more than 2 decades of experience in medical diagnostic ultrasound. While taking advantage from his experience and expertise, he will introduce us with the basic techniques and pitfalls in abdominal ultrasound. All the audience are requested to write your question in the chat section at the bottom of the Zoom active window. Question and answer session will be given proper time at the end of this webinar, and all your questions will be addressed. All the audience are requested to attend the entire session to not to miss any useful tips. Hopefully, you will find it very interesting and knowledgeable. A recorded version of this webinar will be available. We would like to hear from you. Now, without any delay and taking you much more time, I would like to request our respected presenter, Professor Dr. Syed Amir Gilani, to enlighten us with the precious knowledge by taking the mic.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Thank you very much, Dr. Rahim Bacha. I welcome all of my students, colleagues, and friends, and some of the seniors from the field of medical diagnostic ultrasonography. I'm happy to see many people from Sudan, Somalia, and other countries, in addition to some of our students from Pakistan. The idea of having webinars is to share knowledge and experience. Back in 2006 to 2012, I had recorded some of the lectures. I will be using that, and we will have series of lectures on Afro-Asian Institute of Medical Sciences. There is a website. You can save the website address. It is www.aims.edu.pk. We will share it in our documents. So there will be many series of lectures through this Afro-Asian Institute of Medical Sciences. At the end, the participants, the attendees will get their e-certificates, and in future you can keep your drinks. At the end, you can have your drinks, so that we can say that at the end drinks will be served, but drinks will be at your own. You can have your salad, you can have your fruits and everything. So we will try to have an atmosphere in which we can share knowledge. So first I will give some presentation. We look for appendix and cecum, and here you can see cecum is here, and this is ascending colon, and you can find that there is, here you can see the ascending colon, and this is the appendix, which is lying retrocecally, and its walls, and then its lumen. There is fluid in the lumen. This is the same patient. Here is the cecum, and appendix is lying retrocecally, which is behind the cecum. So very easy to diagnose if it is lying retrocecally, and well circumscribed. This is the cut section. We can use color Doppler. Normally, there will be minimal flow on power Doppler if we are using power Doppler for appendix. But if it is inflamed appendix, you will get colors like this, which is hyperemia due to inflammation, excessive flow, and wall will be thick. Another important thing, in addition to the normal structures which we scan in basics, there are few things which are important. So I just kept that few things, 3-4 things in this lecture. Obstructive uropathy and twinkling signs. This is a ureter, and you can see a stone with posterior shadowing. And by using Doppler, you can see some mixing of the colors, which is called twinkling sign. Here it is urinary bladder, and lower 1/3 of the ureter at the uretrovesical junction, and stone with shadowing. It is hyperechoic and it is causing moderate hydronephrosis. This is the kidney of the same side, which is on the right side. Then we have a stone here at the trigone, which is almost going into the urethra, and stone is there, but no shadowing. So in such cases, you can see that the colors, the power Doppler can help, the color Doppler can help you, because you will get mixing of color, the color aliasing, because of the vibration, because of the movement of the stone. There is another stone in the kidney, and you can see the twinkling sign. We can have hydronephrosis for those who are the students of basics. We can have hydronephrosis, which is grade 1. If there is no hydronephrosis, we call it normal. Grade 1 is barely abnormal, and grade 2 is clearly abnormal. Preserved cortex, grade 3 is clearly abnormal, which is a thing. You can see the cortex is not visible. Here the cortex is there, it is preserved. So once you can not see the cortex, it is grade 3, which is also called sphere hydronephrosis. So it will be mild, moderate, and sphere. We call it extreme or grade 4 hydronephrosis when you don't find even these structures. It will be just fluid and anechoic cystic appearance. Just the capsule of the kidney will be visible. In hydronephrosis, once we look, we have to see either it is real obstruction. For that, we use color Doppler. We can have resistive index of the renal vessels. If unilaterally elevated obstruction, likely the resistive index will be above 0.7. Resistive index asymmetrical, it will be about 0.1 or above 0.1. The difference, it means that if right kidney is having 0.5, the left kidney, if it is having a difference of 0.1, that is 0.6, or above 0.6, that will be indicating having some abnormality. So first thing is, generally when it is 0.7 or above, and if the difference of right and left is above 0.1. If bilaterally elevated, it cannot help much, but if normal, there will be, in some cases, there will be problem. Like here, you can see 0.76, which indicates there is some hydronephrosis in the kidney. So even if you are suspicious about hydronephrosis, you can assess the resistive index to confirm your diagnosis of hydronephrosis. So this will be the landmark 0.7 for the segmental arteries. If it is real obstruction, then we look for different things, like check the urethral jets absent if there is obstruction, continuous obstruction affected immediately, and must scan for 5 minutes so that if there is no obstruction, you can see it. If there is anything which is transient, you can rule it out. Must have difference in urine density in ureter and bladder. So if there is obstruction, the urine in the ureter will be different in appearance as compared to the urine in urinary bladder. Even the appearance of urine in ureter will be different from that which is in the collecting system shown as hydronephrosis. We had this publication with Dr. Rahim Bacha and Dr. Ikra Manzoor about relation of color Doppler twinkling artifacts and scale or pulse repetition frequency, because the sound waves are striking the stones and coming back, so the stone is moving, and that movement of stone that gives twinkling sign colors on color Doppler. Another important thing is which can be ruled out, ultrasound diagnosis of spontaneous nephrocutaneous fistulas. It is rare because there is formation of spontaneous fistula in the kidney, which is very usual to have fistula with other organs which are near to the kidney. But it is rare to see the fistulas from kidney to the skin. There are few cases which are reported in the literature, and it is usually associated with the surgical and interventional procedures which are performed, like renal biopsy or renal FNA. Once it is performed, it can form a fistula. Some of the other causes of this fistula, which is spontaneous nephrocutaneous fistula, are renal calculus, the renal tuberculosis, chronic pyelonephritis, or strictures which are at the uretero-pelvic junction. So you can see this is kidney, and here it is fistula to the skin. This was our publication on it. Ultrasound diagnosis of spontaneous nephrocutaneous fistula. You can read it, you can find it on ResearchGate, or you can Google it. The last thing is abdominal worms. While scanning abdomen, we have to keep in mind, especially in pediatric group, we can have worms. This is the lumbricoides, the Scaris lumbricoides here. This is another view. And you can see it here. So even you can see the 5-line appearance, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This black line, hypoechoic line in the center, is the alimentary canal of the worm. And we can find this when the worm is hungry. And once the worm takes any bolus, any food, you can even see it real time while the worm is taking any food inside in the alimentary canal. Another important thing is that errors in gallbladder scanning. Sometime in gallbladder scanning, we can face some errors. Ultrasound has got accuracy of about 95% for diagnosing gallstones, but it is not easy in some of the cases. Like you can see there it looks like stones, and once you change the posture of the patient, the stones are nowhere in the gallbladder. So it can create problems for you. So there are different types of errors, like technical, anatomic, and diagnostic errors. First is the technical, which are related to choice of the ultrasound equipment and performance of the study. So once you are scanning, you have to look at the body habitus of the patient, the thickness of the skin, either patient is slim or obese, and which transducer you are using, what frequency is being used. Then are the anatomic, related to normal structures, variants, and the physiological changes that may be misinterpreted as disease process, and diagnostic, like errors of interpretation. So technical, we have to choose the transducer. This is the convex 2 to 5 megahertz. and here is 7.4 megahertz, and you can see that the higher frequency transducer to increase resolution harmonic is on, and you can find more sand, more debris as compared to which was visible on 2 to 5. So we were going in more depth. Sometimes we need a superficial scanning, which is the higher frequency, 7.4 megahertz. There are more sand particles or debris inside. Then this is another case with right upper quadrant pain, positive Murphy's sign. So here you can see with one frequency with 3 megahertz, it was not visible. And here you can see in the neck of the gallbladder, there is a stone. So same patient, same posture, which is the supine position, and you were missing it because there was the frequency difference. The appropriate frequency of the transducer was not being used. So look at the neck always. You can get sometimes the junctional folds, and sometimes you can have the interlobar fissures. So but don't forget the other end. We have to look both sides. We have to look for pathologies. Keep in mind different things. This is another case in which pericholecystic fluid is present, this one. And this was a perforation of the gallbladder. Here you can see the discontinuity, and fluid is moving, the bile is moving, or debris is moving from this end to this end. So we are getting colors because of the movement. So presence of color doesn't mean that there is blood, it means there is movement. Differentiate perforation from Phrygian cap, which is Phrygian cap is an anatomical variant. We can find it. This is the Phrygian cap on the gallbladder, and this was the perforation from here. So there is difference. Then are the technicals, the anatomical, like Phrygian cap we saw, and then we can see if it is fasting or non-fasting. Sometimes it can confuse. So always try to scan the patient. For gallbladder, it is better to have fasting state. Sometimes due to non-fasting, you can see this angle, this wall is giving some shadow, which is an artifact, so we can confuse with the stone. This is another shadow here. So because there was adjacent ball gas initially mistaken for stone, and once we changed the posture of the patient, we saw that there was nothing inside. It is just the gas in the duodenum which is near to it. Preliminary read as thick walled gallbladder, and you can see why this was wrong, because the patient was not properly prepared, and there was a duodenal bulb near to it which was causing the artifacts. Be aware of the bowel, sometimes fluid filled mistaken as the thick walled gallbladders. Here it is. It is the bowel gas which is giving artifact, and it looks like there is something inside the gallbladder. Another case in which you can see with sludge, it looks as there is sludge and stones, and patient rescanned 2 weeks later for unrelated reason. What is the reason for the change in the appearance of the gallbladder? You can see that this is the sludge, and then it looked almost normal because the patient was not properly prepared, and there were some artifacts from the nearby structures. There it is. That nearby structure was actually in the stomach, which was mistakenly diagnosed as gallbladder, and it was labeled as gallbladder having stone because the patient was having pain. And later on, when the patient was scanned, it was found that that was, you can see the neck of the stomach and the pylorus, and here is the stomach on this side. So it was not a gallbladder. The key points at the end are: understand normal folds so as not to confuse with pathology. Do not confuse non-fasting contracted gallbladder for pathologies, and be aware of edge and side lobe artifacts. familiarize yourself with the many appearances of the bowel. So diagnostic errors are important. We have to keep in mind that we can misinterpret fluid-filled structures for the gallbladder, like we saw stomach. The non-visualized fluid-filled gallbladder, sometimes it is covered with the gases. Adenomyosis, in which we can have lot of small polyps in the gallbladder, which is called strawberry gallbladder. We can have gallbladder thickening also. So this was all about the presentation. I apologize that the video, once I was starting video, the presentation was not working properly. So we will try to sort it out for the next presentations. And we will have many presentations. The next presentation at Afro-Asian will be on 21st August, which is, we have started London Calling lecture series, in which about 8 speakers of UK have agreed to deliver free webinars at our website for our students and colleagues. They will be sharing many things, and then we will try to arrange live workshops on our webinars. So actually this was the first trial. We have to see what are the deficiencies before we go to the London Calling lecture series. It will be free for registration, and then you can have question answers at the end, and along with that you will have you have to send your names, and you have registered with the emails. You will be getting e-certificates of attendance for all these. With this, this is another announcement. We will have another lecture of role of ultrasound and abdominal emergencies. The speaker will be Professor Dr. Mohammad Nawaz Anjum, who is retired professor of radiology from Mayo Hospital, Lahore. He is working as head of department in radiology research section in University of Lahore, and he will be delivering lecture on role of ultrasound and abdominal emergencies. The guest of honor will be Professor Dr. Ahmed Abdul Rahim, who is PhD, and he is Dean College of Radiology. He was previously Dean College of Radiological Sciences, and he told me that he is now the Dean of Postgraduate Studies. We have to change it here. And we will have on, we can see 1st September. So you can mark your calendars. We will have this. And then after this, I will have a short lecture about protocols for obstetrical ultrasound, how we do the 15 minutes scanning. This video I will be sharing so that you know how I did abdominal scanning in 10 minutes, including the color Doppler, which I tried to show, but it was not possible. So now I give the mic to the coordinator, to the moderator, Dr. Rahim Bacha, please. You can conduct the question and answer session. So we have just one question. I think Rahim Bacha is scanning, he is in the clinic. So there is a question from Afra Awad. Thanks for this lecture. My question, how to avoid the pitfalls during gallbladder scan? So I think I have given some of the answers, that look at the transducer which you are using. Then keep in mind that stomach is there, duodenum is there. You can diagnose some stone or something inside, like debris in the gallbladder, which is actually not debris. It is these are gases from the duodenum. Sometimes stomach can be mistaken as gallbladder having something inside. So you have to change the posture, transducer. You have to see the patient is fasting, and then you can save yourself from the pitfall. We will have a separate detailed lecture about the normal scanning of gallbladder and normal scanning of all the viscera one by one. So we will keep on using, thanks to the COVID, because everyone has gone to online lectures, online meetings, online webinars. So that's good. So if there is any question, let's see if there is anything in the chat. Yes, Ms. Fiza Saeed has asked for some tips to scan the spleen as well. So we will have a detailed talk about liver. We will have a detailed talk about spleen, and then I have prepared about 62 lectures for webinars. So if Allah allows us, we will inshallah be having these webinars continuously at least once a week. You can spare 1 or 2 hours with us, and you can learn from our team and from different speakers from the world. We will have another lecture which is about abdominal, which is about emergencies in gynae and obstetrics from Professor Dr. Ahmad Abdul Rahim from Sudan. And then there are many teachers. We will be announcing that at our website, which is www.aims, which is Afro-Asian Institute of Medical Sciences.edu.pk. So now I'm thankful to those who are thanking, and I again apologize for some of the things which were not working, because you see the technologies is sometimes helpful and sometimes it causes hazards. So now people who are online, they can come up, and I will request the moderator to unmute everyone. They chat with each other if they want for 5 minutes, and then we will finish. Akif, if you can hear me, please.
जी सर, आपको आवाज आ रही है?
जी
सर, वो सर राहम को आप जरा को होस्ट बना दें पैनलिस्ट और अटेंडीज के अंदर।
जी पैनलिस्ट
में राहम।
So I have unmuted everyone, and you can all participants are unmuted. Attendees, panelists. आकिफ, आप इसके वो मॉडरेटर बन के सबको इधर विजुलाइज, इनकी वीडियोस अगर शेयर हो सकती हो।
सर मुझे आप होस्ट के राइट से काइंड एफ्लोएशियन जो नाम आ रहा है उसको होस्ट कर।
अच्छा, असल में हम लोग इसमें इतने अच्छे नहीं हैं। अनम्यूट ऑडियो जी, अब आ गया।
जी सर, को होस्ट आपने मुझे बना दी।
ये सबको इसमें ले आए एक बार, ताकि सब एक दूसरे को chat कर सकें. They can see each other, have a group photo of all the participants before we go for Maghrib. Sorry, Dr. Rahim Bacha, he had given me the rights of
जी, राहम बादशाह
host.
सर को नो सर उनको कर दिए को होस्ट तो क्वेश्चन आंसर सेशन सब पार्टिसिपेंट्स अनम्यूट हो चुके हैं तो आप क्वेश्चन पूछ सकते हैं आप
जी, anybody can ask question. यहाँ पे visible नहीं होंगे सारे इनकी वीडियो?
सर वो इनके पास ऑप्शन होगी तो ये अपने पास उधर माइक भी अनम्यूट कर लें और वो वीडियो को भी स्टार्ट कर लें तो शो हो जाएगा.
Anyone who is interested can unmute their video and audio. We have 5 minutes to chat before we end up with the session. Rahim Bacha, I'm sorry that I was not able to unmute. I didn't know how to do that. So I did your session. My apologies. Next time I will get some training from Akif.
No problem at all, sir.
So
I think there's no question of any audience.
No, you can unmute yourself.
Yusuf
There
is
is an
saying there
option.
is no option to unmute.
Can you raise your hand? I can unmute you.
Do you have any questions there?
Miss Harish, you can ask your question now.
सर मैं पूछना ये चाहती हूँ कि एमआईडी के स्टूडेंट्स इंडिविजुअली अल्ट्रासाउंड कर सकते हैं?
Please ask the questions related to the topic. और ये जो आपकी ये क्वेश्चंस हैं इनको तो आप जाकर उधर एचओडी से या ऑफिस में कर लें. It is better to have DMRD degree. Even MBBS, according to the rules and regulations in Pakistan, cannot perform ultrasound. According to the recent rules, regulations which are from last 50-60 years, only the DMRD or FCPS radiology can perform. But people are trying to have some legislation for licensing of sonographers and for physicians to perform ultrasound. You can get the details from your HOD. Yes, any other question?
Mohammad Yusuf, you have any question? Now you can unmute yourself. Can you hear us, Mohammad Yusuf?
Anyone else?
Yes, Huma Zahir, you have any question?